We want to get up close and personal on Peter's on the Block. Today's guest is one of the co-hosts and founders of the YouTube channel DKDKTV, which has over 760,000 subscribers. The channel's slogan is digging deeper into the Korean wave. In other words, it unpacks K-pop lyrics, culture, and the deeper context behind them for international subscribers. Someone who delivers Korean music not as a simple translation, but as true interpretation. Danny Kim, let's hear from him directly.
와, 안녕하세요. K-pop 유튜버 다니 김입니다.
반갑습니다. So Crash Override saying, I know who this is. I watch DKDK TV and I can't believe he's on family-friendly ARIRANG Radio. Do we need any warnings to our listeners out there, Danny?
I'll be as careful as I can to keep it family friendly, yeah.
So on the channel DKTK TV, which is, a lot of K-pop content, but do you push the boundaries in terms of what? Content and language as well? Or?
Let me just say, there's a lot of stuff out there that I said when I was younger.
Okay.
I'm a more mature family man now. I keep it PG now, but back then, yeah, I was pretty wild, yeah.
Because we met, it must have been, I want to say, maybe more than 5 years ago.
Yeah, it seems quite...
Before COVID,
pre-COVID days, yes. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and I remember that was on another radio station, so I think you were being PG there as well.
Yeah,
so I've only seen PG Danny. I'm quite curious to see younger days out there, Danny, as well.
Trust me, you don't want to see it.
So if you know DKDK TV, then let us know as well. Send in your questions for David too. For Danny, because David, the reason I say that, Benny D from the Philippines, saying that's where the channel DKDK TV, David, SJ's guest, is also from as well. So that's your partner in terms of the two DKs.
Right, and he brought me here. He was like, your show's looking for a guest.
Oh, fantastic.
And then he introed me to the writer. Yeah,
I did not know that. The writer is busy not telling me things like that. So your channel, 760,000 subscribers. I remember you doing that when we first met. So it's been how long now?
So officially, it's been about 9 years.
Wow.
We did take a 2-year hiatus just to, try other things.
Yeah.
But right now, we've been going back at it for about a year or so.
Oh, nice. That's a lot of subscribers as well. I've got to say, unfortunately for ARIRANG, more than double our number of subscribers. But what made you start the channel in the first place then 9 years ago?
So I used to work in a music distributor in Korea.
Oh, nice.
And then I just saw how big K-pop was becoming.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was also a media communications major student.
Okay.
And David was as well. He's my business partner on YouTube. And then we saw there's a lot of potential in this field.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting how it's becoming so global. Yet there are no Korean content creators that are talking about K-pop on YouTube.
Yeah.
So YouTube was a relatively new thing back then.
Yeah.
So in Korea at least. So we just decided, let's grab our cameras and let's just see what happens. We didn't think it was going to blow up this big, obviously, but that's how it started, and that's us still doing it till today.
That's amazing. So your channel focuses on what? K-pop and the news there, the lyrics, or everything, or?
So our channel's motto is digging deeper into the Korean wave.
Yeah.
So we're basically trying to talk about anything that's related to Korea, anything that's culturally relevant, but obviously a lot of that is K-pop, but we're also talking about social events, what's on the news in Korea, what's trending, like Tuchongku, stuff like that.
Oh, really?
So we're talking about everything that's relevant in Korea and then explaining it to the global audience through a Korean lens.
Fantastic. And Rao from Argentina says, DKTK is one of my favorite channels because they are always authentic and not politically correct with their opinions sometimes, but that's why they are one of the best. I'm on board with anything like that. Yeah, I like that as well.
I won't say anything about that.
Being straight to the point and frank, that's what I like as well. So then, what kind of source materials do you use? Did you as well, Danny? Because I just assumed you grew up in the States and were a kyopo and lived there continuously forever. Is that not the case?
I grew up in Canada, Vancouver, and but I'm pretty Korean, to be honest. It's just that when I was in, I guess, like high school, middle school, that's when I came back. And they all consider me Kyopo.
Okay.
So I don't think I've ever been considered true Korean until like my adulthood.
Okay. So you came back to Korea around that time. So
Yeah.
you've lived maybe the majority of your life
exactly.
here.
So I'm pretty Korean. But regarding sources of materials, I mostly refer to the news and I try to do a lot of cross-checking.
Yeah.
But also, like, I look at the sentiment. I think that's what kind of differs from typical news channels versus us, is that we talk a lot about what the Koreans feel. So not the facts, but the feelings. And I think that the audience really appreciates.
Sure, I think that's what a lot of foreign fans want to know, is like how Korea feels about these issues, because they can get the issues like anywhere, right? You can find the facts in so many different places now. And we've been actually, come to think of it, doing Daily K now for 9 years.
Wow.
And I've also felt in that time there's a big difference in how foreigners are reacting to K-pop and the number of people consuming it. What's been your take on that? Because it does seem to be getting bigger each year. I mean, 9 years ago was when BTS were really kind of starting to gain traction, right?
I mean, like, now we have, K-pop at the Grammys, K-pop Demon Hunters winning the Grammys, like 9 years ago. Like, we'd be excited if they even got invited to the Grammys.
Right?
So like we're on a totally different level here, from past 9 years versus now. And I think, like, for me, when I first thought it was getting really big was when BTS first got invited to, I think it was the Billboard Music Awards in like 2017. And then that was their first big major award show invite. And then after that, it just kept snowballing. And now they are literally the biggest thing ever.
And everyone's looking forward to their comeback, right?
Exactly.
And the other big news, Blackpink became the first music artist in the world to surpass 100 million YouTube subscribers, receiving that red button. But there's music from other countries as well. J-pop used to be big, back in the 90s. And I think Hong Kong pop was a big thing. And I say big with quotation marks because I don't remember in the UK growing up any of my friends actually into J-pop or Hong Kong pop or anything. But nowadays, my friends' kids, shows how old I am, they're into like K-pop and K-pop Demon Hunters. What do you think sets K-pop apart from like music from maybe other non-English speaking places?
I think the biggest thing is K-pop is very reactive to trends. They're very sensitive to what's trending right now. They're very like flexible. So we're not really like, putting ourselves in a certain genre musically, right? Like we're K-pop is exploring all sorts of genres. Right now, I think house music is very popular in K-pop. And a lot of different groups are putting out house music inspired tracks out there. And the flexibility of K-pop and its ability to adapt to trends, I think, is really helping it connect with the younger audience. They know what the kids like.
Absolutely, because it's K-pop, like, if you come to it first time, you might think, okay, that's the name of the genre, but it really isn't like just pop music at all. And I listen to K-pop because of my daughter the most out of anything, and she's into like girl groups like IVE and Le Seraphim and Hearts to Hearts, and some of them have a certain color to their music, but some of them are just all over the place, right? From one song to the next, it jumps completely.
You don't know where it's gonna go.
And I'm like, is this the same artist? And you as a fan, like, are you all right with this? Like, going from ballad music to like hardcore, house or dance or drum and bass in some cases, but it seems to be hitting the nail on the head because everyone is into it and the number of subscribers is increasing and stuff like that. Do you think it's just going to go from strength to strength, or do you think maybe we are reaching the peak because a Grammy win is pretty much the pinnacle for music?
I think the only one we have left is the Super Bowl at this point.
The halftime show. Do you think that's attainable?
Honestly, I'm going to call it here. Next year, I think BTS might Yeah, I think they're quite likely.
Yeah.
There's a high chance that they will be at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Right, with their comeback and everything. And like you said, they are the most popular boy group, especially when they broke off for their hiatus. Right. Oh, that's a good call. I should maybe get some money on that.
Yeah. Let's make a bet.
Wow, that is massive, isn't it? And so we've done a little corner in a corner. We don't usually do this on Pieces on the Block. Mm-hmm. So the best of K-pop, according to Danny. So we've got some little questions that are totally your opinion, and we're not going to hold you to this.
But I did take some notes.
That opinion, by the way, I'm on for that. I might have to go back to the UK and go to a betting shop because you can't find those here in Korea. But which K-pop artist are you most looking forward to this year?
I mean, BTS, obviously. That's
the obvious answer, isn't it? Yeah.
That's the answer, I think.
Are you personally into BTS as well? Because there's a lot of people who, maybe when the cameras are off will say, I'm not really into their stuff, but I am terrible musically in that I just like anything and everything if it tickles my fancy. And I got to say, some BTS tracks are among my favourites, like Spring Day, Pomno is one of my all-time favourites. There's one from Ed Sheeran who produced it, I think, Make It Right, which is brilliant as well. So I'm all over that. You personally as well, looking forward to their new stuff.
Yeah, I think they've had 4 years to cook, right? They've spent a lot of time off, right? So I'm just excited to see what they have in store. And moreover, their tour, it's like 79 stadiums.
Oh my goodness.
Which is insane. And then they have this stage where it's like in the center of the stadium.
Oh, nice.
And it's like a cross.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're going to show, but when I saw their last tour, 5 years ago, it was freaking huge.
Yeah.
And now it's like they got more, budget than ever, and they got a bigger audience than ever. And I'm just very excited to see what new, highs they can reach.
Yeah. It's starting in Gwanghwamun, right? Next month. Right. And so I'm really curious what that brings. I'm really curious how many fans are going to be there as well.
I heard, so Gwanghwamun, I think they invited 20,000 people, but they're expecting about 200,000 people to 300,000 people to be there.
Where are they all going to fit? I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be hectic.
It is, isn't it? And you're right. You can't look past BTS for 2026, can you? They're maybe not as famous now because if we're talking about the new groups, there's so many more young players in the game. There's so many, especially girl groups, I feel, but also boy groups who are doing the dance thing better than anyone in terms of 가을근무, that kind of sword or knife dance, which means it's on point precision. Do you have any favorite dancers out there, group or individual?
I'm not particularly knowledgeable in dance either, but my pick would be Cortez. There's a member called James.
Yeah.
He was a backup dancer for Jungkook when he did his solo stuff.
Okay.
And Cortez in general, they're really great performers. They're new, but they do all their choreo, they do all their music. They make their own music videos. They're very talented.
Amazing.
And their music, I think personally, is the best right now among K-pop artists.
Wow.
That I've seen the past 1 or 2 years.
I feel that they're one of those groups that seems to have a lot of traction overseas with a lot of overseas fans as well. Right?
They played at the NBA All-Star Weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's massive.
Yeah. So, and they're only a year old. Yeah. In terms of a group.
That's the thing. When we've done Daily K, we do a daily news thing, what's caught the attention culturally. And I remember back in the day, there would be big established groups sometimes getting invited to things, like you said, with BTS and the Billboard Awards. But nowadays, it's groups that I've barely heard of getting invited to TV shows and things like that, like late night shows in the US. I'm like, how is this happening? Is there a big push, do you think, from the K-pop industry? Or is it that side, the American TV shows, pulling them in, knowing that K-pop has that pull, or a bit of both?
It's a bit of both, but I think if you just look at YouTube and see, what the clips of these K-pop idol appearances on late night shows and American TV, you just see a very big jump in terms of views.
Really?
So obviously they're taking note of that. They know that the fans will flock whatever material that their idol is on. So there's definitely a big demand for whatever content. So it's good for K-pop.
Yeah, it's brilliant for K-pop. But it makes sense for the American TV shows, like you said. If they're getting more views, that's the bottom line, isn't it? And in terms of, we mentioned it a little bit with Cortis, but there are those groups that seem to gain a lot more traction abroad, and there are those groups that are domestically more popular, right, and don't get so much international attention. In your opinion, who are some of the big hitters outside of Korea at the moment from K-pop?
I think the biggest group that's maybe not so as well known in Korea, maybe ATEEZ. I mean, they're quite well known in Korea. They've been around. They've been like, year 7, year 8. But like in Europe, in South America, North America, they are like playing arenas. They're selling out stadiums. They are doing crazy big things.
Wow.
Whereas in Korea, they're still doing quite well, but I think they're lesser known to the general public versus outside.
Yeah, if you ask maybe mums and dads about ATEEZ in Korea, they're not really going to know, right?
Really know.
And is that, you being in the industry, something that is planned, like by agencies or by the artists? Do they say, let's focus on that side rather than this side? Or is it kind of just luck of the draw?
I think nowadays it's more becoming quite common for agencies to simply plan for overseas success and kind of, I mean, the domestic market, they still, take care of it.
Yeah.
But the priority has become global success because it's much more easier. It's easier to have global success when, you have so much of an audience that's listening to K-pop versus you only have a limited amount of people. And there's less kids every year.
Here in Korea. That's a good point,
the audience is shrinking, so it's naturally, gonna have to people are gonna have to gear towards overseas audiences.
Yeah, that's not an aspect that I thought of. But with fewer younger people who are the ones consuming the new music the most anywhere in the world, that's got to be tricky. Raoul saying Cat's Eye are kind of popular in the US, and I don't think Koreans know too much about them. Yeah, that's a good example. And there are many more as well. And I do feel like in the domestic market, it's more difficult, perhaps, to become successful right here with so many groups debuting, and the turnover being really high and quick. Whereas in the global market, I guess if you're successful just in one market at least, then you can kind of just hone in on that and capitalize and things like that. Wow. DK TV. We got Danny Kim in the studio. Please make the most of this. Any questions, any comments, put them up on the YouTube live stream. I see some coming in. We're going to get to your song request now, Danny.
Okay.
And it's an artist you mentioned, Cortis from earlier.
Yes.
So is this one of the tracks you like, Fashion?
Yeah. I mean, I like all their tracks, but I think this just showcases their producing very well.
All right, let's check it out. We'll be back in part 2. That is Cortis with Fashion. I don't know if they're big in America or globally, but my cousin who lives in California, her daughter and it was a couple of years back now as well, they went to watch Stray Kids. And then I kind of got a little bit into Stray Kids and listening to a lot of their music. It seems like that, like really powerful, kind of very manly in many ways as well. That sound seems to pop off in certain markets outside of Korea as well, I feel.
Definitely, like the kind of reminiscent of like A$AP Rocky or, those kind of rappers. I think they do really well in the US.
Like you said, being flexible, that seems to be the key, right? Whatever sound is hot. And, music and art in general, you're always getting inspiration from other places, right? So if anyone's going to say, oh, this is copying this, that, or the other, well, I would task you with finding someone who has a completely original sound, has never been influenced by anybody. There can't be many artists like that. Loads of messages coming in. Ben saying, a question for Danny from the Philippines. In 2022, you guys did Ramyeon and Chill, and what was the reaction to doing this big project? What was that about, Ramyeon and Chill?
Oh, so that was officially what put our channel to hiatus.
Oh,
what? So like I wanted a big send-off. Like I was kind of like wanted to take a break anyways, and then I'm really into, that's my guilty pleasure. I'm really into dating reality shows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like 나는 솔로.
Oh, that was big
Singles
recently,
Inferno,
right? Singles Inferno.
So I was like, I want to make my own.
Yeah.
And then we had the concept of international women coming in to meet Korean men.
Okay.
And it was we spent like a week in some house.
Yeah. You
in
actually made the
Chungcheong.
show.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had like 40 cameras. It was crazy. We spent a crazy ton of money.
Yeah.
And that kind of broke me financially. But the reaction was really good. Like we had like 2-3 million views per video, and everybody was hyped. We sold it to the Philippines. I think it was on Filipino television.
Amazing.
And then there was some demand for season 2, but after it, I was like, oh, I'm so burnt out. I need to take a break.
Yeah.
So I took a break for 2 years.
Wow. That does sound stressful because I was watching Singles Inferno, the latest season. I'm not so into these dating shows. Now that I'm married and I have kids, I just can't relate anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of makes me miss the days of dating. And that's not a good thing. So I'll just switch off. But recently, my sister-in-law was at my house with her husband, and we just binge watched a load of the latest season.
I heard it's really good.
It's stressful watching it, right? Like seeing how some characters are backstabbing and a bit conniving. I can imagine if you're producing it and filming it, it's got to be really tough. Like to know what to put in, to what to leave out, like to see behaviors of certain people and stuff like that.
Let me just say, people were crying.
Yeah.
There were people that were begging me to edit some stuff out.
Yeah.
Like on the set.
Wow.
Like on the last day, like at 2 a.m., some people like came up to us and they were like, "Oh, can you please edit this part out?
Yeah.
Because this is gonna ruin my reputation." All that stuff has to be taken into account. I don't want to ruin this person,
of course,
right?
yeah,
But I also want to make fun content that's maybe slightly dramatic.
Of course.
So that's a tough balance. And I think a lot of Korean dating reality shows nowadays are also walking that thin ice. And it's a tough balance, and maybe that's what put me out.
I can imagine it could cause a 2-year hiatus easily, because there was one particular girl from the latest season of Single Inferno who's got such a bad rap after that. And I watched it, and I can understand some of the criticism, but I'm also like, it's going a bit overboard, and I'm really worried about her like mental health and things like that. Right?
I heard the producers like bowed to her.
Oh, really?
When they were doing their 회식 after the show,
Oh,
because
saying
they're
thank
like,
you.
because she kind of carried the show. Like everybody's talking about her.
Yes.
Everybody's like, it's negative, but still, it's like driving hype.
Exactly,
Right.
because aside from that, it was seen as quite a boring season, so I can imagine the producers would do that as well. Some other comments, Siska from Jakarta saying, ATEEZ just had a concert here last month. They seem to be even more popular outside of Asia as well. And Crash backs that up, saying, I hope ATEEZ adds a Detroit date to their tour this year. Last year, I would have had to fly to Chicago. And yeah, you are seeing many K-pop bands now do concerts in even more obscure cities, like in the UK as well. Cities where you wouldn't expect a K-pop band to rock up. So fingers crossed for people who live in those kind of places.
Where can you give an example? Birmingham?
Like Birmingham's our second city, so that's
really?
kind of
okay.
like, say, in terms of population, not in terms of, I'm sorry to people who live in Birmingham, like the quality of the city from a tourist aspect, but in like lesser known, like northern places. I think places like York and other places, in like small venues as well. So I sometimes wonder, like, are they making enough money? But sometimes they're just trying to meet their hardcore fans, like certain groups. But it's really interesting to see that development as well. So getting back to some of our questions that our writer wants to put to Danny Kim, co-host of the YouTube channel DKDKTV. As a creator, with K-pop getting bigger and bigger, 760,000 subscribers, that's no small audience. And we were talking in the song break, you do a lot of live streams now. Yeah. And the issue with like live, and I do a lot of broadcasting, but hardly any of it is live because, there can be mistakes.
Right.
And as there's such a big audience out there for K-pop, do you feel like a heavier sense of responsibility? I feel like from that dating show that you just talked about, Ramin and Chill, is that not stressful for you? Or how do you balance that, especially when doing live stuff as well?
Yeah, before each live, I try to tell myself to be as careful as possible. I'm a lot more careful these days. Yeah. Because, I want to have a family and have make a living. But it is quite stressful. But at the same time, I also feel like it's fun and exciting in the sense that a lot of people are depending on me to get their news or to get their feeling of the general sentiment of certain events.
Yeah,
That's a very exciting feeling. So it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I do feel that like the bigger the audience and the bigger the impact, there is that responsibility, but you also feel like, I'm reaching more people, right?
It's exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think positively about that as well. And while running DK over 9 years, what are some standout moments for you, Dane? Like good or bad? Like I can imagine the dating show, like you said, was a big deal.
The highs were, I would say the dating show was a high for me. I think it's a good climax for us. And I think one of the biggest things for me was after like 7 or 8 years, I started meeting people that were in the music industry, that were in the K-pop industry, that were, American or European. And they come up to me and say, oh, I became, I started, working at a label, K-pop label, thanks to you.
Oh,
like,
nice.
You inspired me. And then there were a few idols
Wow.
that said they grew up watching my channel.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I inspire them to be a K-pop idol, but at least
Still.
there are idols out there now that come up to me and say, I watched your channel when I was growing up.
Wow, that's amazing. Is that a lot of idols who are maybe English speakers or K-popers and things like that?
Right.
That's fabulous, isn't it? I imagine you could feel so proud after hearing that from an idol, right?
Right. But also it means they know everything about me. So
Everything
wherever
you've
I
said.
go, when there's, music industry professionals, I have to be a little bit careful. Do they know me or not?
Yeah, what do they know about me?
Yeah, I
They've
know.
seen everything I've said. That is true. Once it's out there nowadays, it's out there forever,
Scary.
isn't it? It is scary. And we were talking about K-pop and, how it's seemingly at a peak at the moment and it could get even bigger. That Super Bowl show is maybe the final frontier. But at the same time, nothing lasts forever, right? I'm always conscious of this while doing Daily K and seeing, Parasite win an Oscar or something like that and thinking, there's going to come a day when maybe we're not getting as much as the spotlight as before. So a couple of questions, I guess, twofold. Like, what does K-pop need to do to continue on this kind of trajectory of continually getting a lot of love? Like, I don't know, maybe British music is a bit of a smaller market than the US, but it's constantly been popular since the Beatles. And then maybe if it doesn't get as much love, what do you feel about that? What does that mean? And how should we, as Koreans in a Korean-like market, accept that? Should we be sad about it? Or?
I mean, I think it's gone to a point where it's way above expectations, anybody's expectations. We're on the safe zone now. I think K-pop's found its ground where we're no longer relying on a single viral artist or a single hit to kind of carry the entire industry on its back.
Yeah.
We're in the area where artists consistently come out and they are performing consistently well in all over the world. And that's kind of like, if we just keep doing what we do, then we're safe. I feel we're in the safe zone.
We don't need to reach too much for something bigger and better. I mean, it's great if it happens, but even if it stays like this, that's fabulous, right?
So I like to compare K-pop to kind of like Latin music, where it's become a staple in the global music industry. People who are not Latin still make Latin music, still make Latin influence music, and that's kind of like where K-pop's heading. I feel it's become a certain genre within the music industry.
And we've had a few guests on our show, like even EXP Edition, I think it was, when they came on and they were completely foreign boy group who were K-pop.
They were pioneers, I would say,
Right, because that was pretty early and it didn't, ending massive success.
Right.
And then we've seen, I've forgotten their name, but they're the British boy band. They were like done with BBC and maybe Hybe or something. They've got a girl's name in their boy group name, but they are an all-white like boy group who are K-pop, but totally British at the same time. How do you feel about that then? Like you said with Latin music, that's nice when other people make Latin music, right? But there has been some criticism from some quarters and like saying, well then, how is that K-pop? Because like you mentioned earlier, it's not really a genre or a style of music, right? It's not like you've got to have a gayagum in the background or something like that.
So I think it's it's just inevitable when your music it grows so big that everybody's consuming it.
Yeah.
Then at that point, it's kind of no longer yours. And I
Yeah.
think for the first time as Korean, we're experiencing the cultural export where it's become too big for it to be solely called ours anymore.
Yeah.
It's becoming, we look at Cat's Eye. Hybe just introduced a new boy group that's all Latin.
Yeah.
That kind of has a lot of, K-pop influences as well. So
Yeah.
like we're seeing K-pop be Latin, be American, be European, be Asian.
Yeah.
So it's no longer solely Korean, and I think we just have to accept that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately or fortunately. Yeah. So that is just the way.
Yeah, and whenever something changes or happens for the first time, there is pushback. So
Right,
I'm sure
right.
we'll get used to it and be more proud. I think already some people are proud of that fact. It's amazing that people want to say or identify as a K-pop group, despite
Right.
not being Korean, despite maybe not even singing in Korean. But that's kind of cool, isn't it?
It is.
We're going to get to some more music. We mentioned these guys to look out for in 2026. A little-known group, BTS, with Idol. BTS Idol, they have so many tracks because they've been around for a long time. If you're an international BTS fan, you might have only heard of them maybe in the past, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years. But before that, they even came to ARIRANG Radio in their earlier days, right?
Wow.
And I'm not trying to belittle ARIRANG Radio, of course. I love it and it's brilliant. But imagine BTS here now. That would be show-stopping, unbelievable. Every DJ, every host and guest would come and watch them, right?
Your servers would crash.
Yeah, absolutely, right. We couldn't handle it, I don't think. But they were, slugging away for a good couple of years before they got big, right? And so linking back to our hashtag in our number one and our hashtag sentence, 끝까지 포기하지 마. Don't give up until the very end. And you never know what's around the corner. How long did it take for DKTV to kind of get off the ground then, would you say?
To be honest, I think maybe a year.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I think more so like it took us like 3-4 years until like our parents believed in us.
Oh, really?
So, like Korean parents,
Yes.
they're like, oh, like just get a job. What are you doing? This YouTube stuff. I don't know anything about YouTube.
Yes.
And they didn't think like it was a real job until 3-4 years down the line when they
Okay.
saw us, going to these events and getting paid.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
And that's when you know you've made it. If your
Yeah.
Korean parents have said, all right, I believe in you. And that takes a lot. I know that as well. So, Daddy, what are your dreams for the future? For the channel or personally?
Just I think for the channel, we just want to keep doing what we're doing. Our goal is 1 million subscribers.
Oh, nice.
But by the end of this year, but also honestly, like we kind of stopped caring about the numbers now. We just enjoy doing this weekly, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah, I think once you reach a certain spot and you have that comfort as well, it makes the content better as well. You feel more comfortable in your own skin, not pressured by those kind of things.
Exactly.
So check it out, DKTV on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe there if you're not already done so. I think many of our listeners are. It's time for the pinnacle, the peak of Peters on the Block. Some say, I'm not sure if I agree, but it's quiz time, Danny. And we have this box filled with these coloured balls of prizes if you get a quiz question right. There's like vouchers worth up to, I think, 150,000 won.
I get to keep it?
You do.
It's for me.
If you get the question right.
Oh, okay.
It's not for the listeners.
I'm going to do it.
This is selfish, yeah. There are also, I must say, the vast majority, quite rubbish prizes. Like a selfie with me is one of them. Yay! But if you're lucky, you could choose a good one. Who knows? But it's not compulsory because our writer usually does a question linked to our special guest's area of expertise. So I will say a considerable number of them have got them wrong because they go deep. So it's totally up to you, totally by choice. Would you like to take the quiz, yes or no, Danikin? No pressure.
Yes.
You get at least one ding dong dang for today. You get another one if you get the quiz question correct. Play along at home as well, listeners. All right, here is the question. We've talked about it as well, that next month on March 21st, the BTS comeback live, ARIRANG, which is good for our station as well. There's going to be lots of hits, I'm sure. That is taking place. And the main stage of the BTS performance is Gwanghwamun in Seoul. Now, here's the question. And, I see our writers taken mine and the producer's advice and made the questions easier because we felt sorry that the guests were getting them wrong so much. I'm sure you're going to get this. Please name the palace of which Gwanghwamun is the southern main gate of, located in Seoul.
경복궁.
Gyeongbokgung Palace is your final answer.
Yes.
Sure it's not Changdeokgung?
No.
Okay. Yay!
Well, that was too easy.
That was too easy. All right.
I think you guys got to up the difficulty there.
Yeah, so she was being very stubborn and keeping it proper difficult every week. So me and producer Minnie would say, no, even experts can't get this right. But she's finally relented. But yeah, we've gone too easy. Okay, but we'll still let you choose from these colour balls, Danny. Take your pick.
I hope it's not the selfie.
Oh, you're the first guest to be rude enough to admit that. But thank you for the honesty. All right, if you read out what's on there, you get it instantly as well.
동전 모아 건물주 되는 그날까지 곰돌이 저금통.
Wow, you get a bear piggy bank. Or a bear bank, we should call it, live in the studio. There you go. 건물주 될 때까지.
I'd rather get a selfie.
Yeah, that plastic, that junk does accumulate in homes, doesn't it? But if that guarantees you to own a building after filling up just that bear, that's pretty magical.
You need to fill it with gold.
Probably, yeah. In this day and age, that won't be enough either. Danny, thank you so much for coming on the show. As a last message to the listeners out there, what do you have to say to them, the ARIRANG followers, maybe your DK subscribers that are tuning in as well?
Yeah, thank you for having me here, and just enjoy K-pop, guys.
Yes,
It's
enjoy
fun.
it, right? Yeah, because I see, and there is sometimes, even on our chats, a little rivalry between rival group fans and
right.
things like that.
Yeah.
And it gets really heated and really personal. And I don't know, I love it that some people are passionate about their favourite groups, but I really hate it when it spills over to hating on other groups. Do you think that is like specific to K-pop, or is that a global phenomenon?
That's just human nature. People do that with sports teams, like people go crazy over their football team, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just human nature. But I do see it a lot in my chats as well when I do live streams.
Yeah.
And it gets pretty heated and crazy. So guys, chill, just enjoy. It's just music.
Exactly.
Enjoy the performance.
It's meant to be fun, right? That is the bottom line. Raul saying, thank you, Danny. Happy to see you one more time on here. Happy Monday as well to Senor Pedro, Piridim, and the team. Thank you for tuning in. Guys, each and every week on a Monday, we do have a special guest. We've been lucky enough to have Danny on the show. I wish we could have you regularly. Your insight is so good. But I just found out where you live in Seoul, and it's like the opposite side of the city. So
Took me an hour and a half.
I feel very bad for bringing you in on a Monday morning
It's
as
all right.
well.
It was fun.
Good luck in the future, Danny, with everything. I'm going to tune into one of those live streams and put a question to you and David as well. You can catch on Culture Crunch on SJ's show, I think on a weekly basis, so check that out as well. We'll see you again sometime in the future, Danny, okay? Take it easy.
Sure.
Here's Song Ha-young to take us out from Promise 9, Give You the Universe. Thanks to all our staff members behind the scenes for their help, and we'll be back with our Tuesday edition tomorrow. It's been your Daily Dose of Career, #DailyK out. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.